Call the July 22nd, 2025 Norfolk Planning Commission meeting to order. Inform the public of the location of the Open Meetings Act in the northwest corner of the building and ask for roll.
Waite.
Here.
Sock. Simonson.
Here.
Upke. Hoffert.
Here.
Kuby. Here. Griffith.
Here.
Keach. Ronfelt.
Here.
Ask for approval of the full agenda.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second, please vote.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
Consideration of approval of the minutes of the June 17, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Move to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
We'll open up the public hearing at the request of Triple H LLC to consider a conditional use permit for an oversized vehicle truck wash on property addressed as 1401 South Chestnut Street. Anyone like to speak on behalf of this conditional use permit?
Yeah.
Go ahead. When you are here, if I can get you to sign in, please. Morning.
So, what am I talking about?
Can you just outline what you want and what you're asking for here?
So, we're looking to build a oversized wash on that property. So, it would be an automated wash that you pull in and can wash anything that wouldn't fit in a regular car wash. And such as like campers, full-size semis, service trucks, dualies, all of that sorts. And here for a conditional use permit because that's what they said we had to do.
Fair enough. Is that the road leading up to, what is that, just off Omaha?
Yep.
To your property? That's all gravel now?
So it's paved to past road builders, so the property to the north, but it's not to the property line. I think it's just north of it.
And then it turns to gravel
Yep,
onto
yep.
your property?
Yep.
Okay. Where would the entrance be
So-
approximately?
The entrance would be on the south side of the property, and then there would be a big loop along the south side, and then you'd turn on the east side of the property and go into the building facing west. Yep.
Okay.
And then there would be enough room on the west side of the building for a truck to pull out and sit before they make it back onto the road.
And that's enough turn radius for a semi
Yep.
on there?
So the way it's set up now, they'd go on the gravel a little bit when they exit then.
So I think we'd have to build the road, so you wouldn't be able to start construction, I think, before you put the road in.
Would they need that approach, Val?
Steve, you want to join in on this conversation about what you guys were talking about for paving of the road, and were you going to have them paved down to their southern property line so that they came off of concrete and onto concrete, or was there a decision made on that?
I think they need to pave towards the southern end of the property. We'd work with them on that, probably put together an assessment district or something in there. my vision, I envision that, the road doesn't go anywhere south here. And so as those, whatever's gonna happen to those two properties down there, somewhere down there, we'll probably end up with a cul-de-sac. Sort of right in, just kind of point down there, Val, where that driveway is.
Here.
Probably, I envision more of a cul-de-sac right in that area, but until those properties come in for some sort of redevelopment, there's really no mechanism to get the right-of-way that would be required to do a cul-de-sac. So for now, for this property, kind of getting it down to the southern end, and if we're gonna do an assessment district or something like that, we'd wanna get it clear down to the south side so that, you know, we can't assess them twice, so we'd wanna get it down to the end of their property so that we assess them and they're done. Drainage, haven't really looked too much at drainage in that area, but generally everything runs down to the railroad right away and then runs east to the river. So we'll have to look there and see, do we might need a drop inlet or something in there and a little bit of storm sewer.
Is that something that we need to mention in the conditional use permit? Or is that above the permit as far as like the paving of the road?
If you wanted to, I mean, I think we've done it before, like work with city staff regarding pavement of Chestnut. And then, I see on the diagram that you wanted the entrance road to be gravel and come out for concrete. If Chestnut gets paved, you're probably gonna want some sort of apron coming off of there, right? And not just gravel.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is that's one way in, so there
Right.
would be, we'd have there'd have to be a standard driveway approach in there that would be concrete. But since they're not coming out that gravel driveway, they shouldn't be dragging any rock or anything into the street.
Okay.
You mentioned this is a self-service, but will you have any sort of employees there that you need parking?
Shouldn't.
No.
Just I wouldn't think so. It'd be like servicing, but it would be during probably like non-operational hours, or not non-operational, but like not peak hours.
So you probably wanna mention on that south approach that is, and either you mention that it's an entrance only and not, or no apron into the site is required unless that becomes an exit.
If you're okay with that. Okay.
And so the north side of the lot is going to be the exit.
Yep.
Okay. And would they need to extend, where the concrete is on that, the very west side? Will they need an apron there
On the south side, you said?
on the north side?
On the north.
That would all need to be.
Yeah, that's all gonna be concrete.
Okay.
And even the south one, there will probably be some apron off of the road to the right of way probably.
Right.
into the
Okay.
property.
What are you gonna do with sidewalk?
Is there sidewalk on the north side? On, what is that, Road Builders North?
No, it doesn't appear to have any sidewalk really anywhere, except on the north side of Omaha.
Is that something they'd come back for?
Well, when they pull the building permit, I would assume the building permit will trigger the sidewalk.
Sure, it's a platted lot, and it probably has the sidewalk note on it.
No, it's that really old, it was platted a long time ago,
Oh.
so it doesn't have a sidewalk note.
Okay,
So-
so then it does not have a sidewalk. It was an old plat.
Is that something that we put in the cup, or will that still flag on the building permit? I don't wanna, I don't
Yeah.
wanna back us into a corner. You know, 50 years from now either, if we need sidewalk. I get there's no sidewalks down there now. But I don't wanna,
Well, it's
pigeonhole
inside
us
city
either.
limits, so the council always has the right to order in sidewalks.
okay,
So if,
And they'd have to order it in the whole
Yeah.
corridor there.
as long as that still applies and we have an exit or an out for us. Yeah, because I'm not worried about the sidewalk necessarily, just because there's none there. I don't see a whole lot of foot traffic down there anyways, so. As long as we have that out. When we discussed in subcommittee, is this external wash only?
Yes.
Or are you gonna have, you know, feed trucks rolling in there,
So it's not
spraying
a,
out the inside of their
so it's
trailer?
not a
and-
washout.
Okay.
It's just like a car wash. It's just-
Strictly external,
Yes.
just
Yes, sir.
get it clean.
Yep.
Okay. And there's gonna be no spray guns and whatever you got going on to wash out the inside of a,
Right.
I'm thinking like a cattle truck at
Nope,
that
we're
point.
not even gonna have we won't even have a hand or a
Okay.
wand.
So, you know, as far as like sewage goes, we discussed about some of the, what would go into that if we're gonna need special drainage and all that to be a part of it. So does that cause any concern on that half?
Probably no concern, I don't, this is gonna be all automated. Probably no concern, people pouring the campers and dumping, that kind of stuff. Cameras can take care of that, or signage can take care of that. As long as it's external wash, I don't have any issues at all.
Okay.
So you intend to have security cameras?
Yep. So, yeah. So the plan behind that is the security cameras and like the credit card information you'll get from them. You'll be able to track that if they do something. Pretty easy.
You'll need to extend the water and sewer though, right, to your property?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
I don't even think it's to the the end of the concrete, if I remember correctly.
Correct, yeah, so water and sewer would need to be extended. Water is usually outside the curb line, I think it's on the east side here, so that'd need to be extended to the southern end of the property. And then sewer would need to be extended to the end of the paving.
And then you're a part of the, just where you're out there, it'd be a part of the highway corridor overlay district.
Yes.
Did Val make you aware of the design and landscaping requirements
sir.
and everything? Okay. Do you have plans for that right now to account for that?
Have that, we're not quite that far yet.
Just gotta add a little pizzazz on the outside. So as far as conditions go, it's still a public hearing, I guess, so we'll save the conditions for a few minutes, but. I'm sorry, what was your name?
I'm Harrison.
Harrison? Any other questions for Harrison that,
We're right on the west side.
oh, ma'am, go ahead and come up.
We're right on the west side, this gentleman and myself, for that lot.
We'll have you sign in right here.
We're right on, well, I'm on the west, he's on the south, but I know we're in a flooding zone. All our area is flooding. My question is, they talked about drainage with that. We already have enough water stuck there. We're trying to fill up the area to get it out of the flooding area. Would that bring us any issue? I mean, I'm not knowledgeable on none of this. I just came to ask about that. And he pretty much answered our question, because with the feedlot trucks, we were concerned about that. And he already cleared that there won't be any feed trucks, so.
So as far as I understand, all the runoff from the actual, are you worried about the runoff from the car wash itself?
Yes, draining the water, because we'll be south of him. And so, again, we're right in the middle of flood.
Sure.
And we also paving, when we bought that lot, we were told that the city was not gonna pave. Again, I'm not knowledgeable of this, but based on what I understood, the city will pave all the way to the end of that dead road, or?
We'll pave to the end of their property and assess them for that.
And what about,
We can visit with you about, putting a cul-de-sac down in there.
I mean, because we do have a small business as well, and so, it would be convenient for us to get all the way over there.
We'll get your contact information, and we'll have you come in and we'll visit about that, and, because we can, we're gonna have water and sewer will be really close as well, and so when your wells fail or your septic system fails, you'd be able to connect in there, so we'll have you come in and visit with you about that,
Okay, yeah, because I would like that,
yeah.
we would like to be considered part of that as well. Okay,
But as far as your question about the actual
draining.
drainage of the actual wash itself, that will then go into the sewer, correct? So you're not gonna have, it's not like you're gonna be washing and then all the water running.
Is there a possibility of, any failures with drainage I mean, again, we're in a flood zone, so that water really raises really quick when it starts. All the water from that highland comes down to us.
Right, you'll see, as a function of putting a paved street in there, right now it's gravel, so when the rain falls, it just goes into the ground until it runs south. Paving it will put a little bit more water down there just because it's concrete and the concrete doesn't absorb water. So you'll see some, you will see some, it's not gonna be a large volume.
So will the city put a drain enough to help us with that drain? Because again, we already get the water from north of that lot and then Highland.
It comes down to the railroad and then it goes
Well,
out on the railroad.
I think the railroad has this lump
It
where
could be,
it just stays in our property.
yeah, I can see where the water goes just by looking at this picture. The blue area is where the water's kind of running. But, we'd have to stop out there and look inside the railroad and see what's gone on. And it's possible there's trees that have grown inside the ditch, or people have dumped stuff back there, kind of out of sight, out of mind, and they've dumped something in the ditch and blocked the ditch.
Would there be any storm sewer with that, or just surface?
I,
Or you envision
it appears to be a long enough stretch, that probably somewhere in there would be a drop inlet and a storm sewer pipe.
Would you definitely help what she's concerned
Um,
potentially?
I mean, I don't mind the business at all, but just the draining, again, we already have that problem.
Well, and realistically, if you get together with the city and pave the entire thing, that would then, you'd have drainage anyways when you come to
It
pave
goes
the.
into this, there's not gonna be a storm sewer that goes all the way out to the river.
Right.
Her property is being, you can see, see there, it backs up from the south, so I can see there that she's in a flood area. I don't, we're not gonna, in theory, if you think of that old railroad in there, and when the railroad was in there and they maintained their ditches and kept the ditches clean, that all drained over east to the river somehow. I'm guessing today, that's not maintained, the ditch is overgrown, I can see trees in it, but it's probably not draining the way it's supposed to. We can do things like we can contact the railroad and tell them, get out there and maintain their right of way, and they need to maintain that drainage, because it's a part of our city drainage system. Again, the impact, the storm sewer.
Will that get us out of the flooding zone?
No. You're right here, I assume.
Yep.
So we're talking about paving from here to here, putting the cul-de-sac down here. Right now, this is picking up water, and the water's just dumping and running down here. So probably somewhere in here or somewhere down here, we put a drop inlet, probably bring a pipe down into here somewhere, daylight it out into this ditch. So the water, we're gonna be dumping the water right here. It's really not gonna, it's not gonna go anywhere. That water's coming down here now and getting into this area and just sitting, and when we're done, it's still just gonna get down into that area and sit.
So the impact is not gonna be any more substantial than it already is, within, a little bit with the paving.
Right.
So, as long as it's not gonna make it substantially worse for you, does that, you could,
Well,
it already is as it is, right?
yeah, correct,
Right,
yes.
you're in a floodplain the way it is.
Yes, and
right?
we were
can't
aware of
change
that.
Right,
Correct, yeah. I just don't want it to get it worse,
right.
That's all my concern, with the correct drainage for that. Again, it's to our benefit. I don't mind it at all. It's just concerning on that. And again, he already answered the question about the feedlot trucks, which is something that him and us were concerned about, flies and whatnot, chemicals,
Yeah.
wasn't gonna bring any value to our property either. So, I think we're good on that.
Have you looked south of your property? It's very possible there's a pipe that goes underneath the railroad. From what I can see, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a pipe under the railroad, and maybe that pipe's blocked. We'll come out and take a peek.
Okay, that would be nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Sir, would you have any concerns? Yes?
Steve, with the additional impermeable surface added to that, it wouldn't trigger a required stormwater retention plan?
On their side, they would have to comply with our drainage manual for redevelopment. Without looking at their plan, it's hard to say whether they would be required to put in detention or not, but they're probably right on that threshold. If it's more than an acre of disturbance, I think is the threshold.
Morning, sir.
Morning. Now, you say this is gonna be just outside wash. You ain't washing no bowl racks or small stock trailers of any kind? Okay, that's what I was wondering, because what the hell were you gonna do with the manure? And you pile it up, then you got flies, next thing you got rats, and there's no trailers gonna be dropped there. Okay,
And that'll be a part of our,
If they were doing that, it would go down the sewer.
yeah, okay.
That's why our wastewater superintendent's here to make, to understand
That
why.
ain't gonna work.
But yeah, if they were doing, washing out cattle trucks or whatever, there would be a sewer system there and it would all go down the sewer. but they're
Okay.
not doing that.
And like I said, no trailers are gonna be dropped there.
We would make that part of our conditional use permit as a condition that there's no outside storage, there's no, can't leave a trailer there for months.
Right.
The aesthetics of the area have to be in line with our
That's
permit.
that was my thing. But I don't really think myself that it's a large enough area to be running semis around there, but that's your problem, not mine. So that's what I want to make sure, as long as there's nothing dropped there and no inside washouts. But other than that, and like I say, there is no gravel. There is gravel in front of that property, and there's gravel in front of mine, but I don't need no cement highway. If you guys want to put a turn into his place, fine. As far as more street, there's no use for it. I'm the only one who lives down there.
Right, I mean, you and the lady over here, the plan would be to put a cul-de-sac down there, so that people that come down they can turn around and get out,
Well,
but, I mean,
there's no problem with that now, but
right.
very seldom anybody comes down there besides the mailman and paper boy. So, okay, that's what I wanted to make sure, there was nothing gonna be sitting around there. Okay,
And when we pave it, our big issue is we have to be able to turn around fire trucks, snow plows.
when snowplows have been down there, they either turn around, or they back up to where they can turn around.
Right, we don't like to do that.
And ever since they took this over, I told them the first right away, to grade the road. I ain't never seen a road grader either. Never.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
They got
I
a
can fix that.
nice road grader, I mean, sure, it's only a 2-block stretch, but they could put the damn blade down and fill the holes up.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Still a public hearing. Anyone else would like to speak on behalf of this? Venture.
I'm Karen Peterson with Inspire Home and Land Realty, and I'm helping Harrison with purchasing the land. And I gotta put my address. I just think having a young entrepreneur in Norfolk, Nebraska with a vision and a big dream, huge asset. So obviously, I'm in for it. I think it's gonna be an asset to Norfolk. And I think you guys should approve it and move forward.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on behalf of this venture? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and open for discussion. I think having the people's concerns addressed, I think, was obviously important piece of the conditional use permit. As far as the conditions that are in the permit, we have the stock wordage, the stock conditions of, no outside storage, no hazardous materials. That would, address the concern of, can't have a trailer drop there for months or whatever it may be. And there also, do we need to put the condition of the overlay district in there? Or is that just because it's part of,
Follows all state and local.
that's that caveat as far as the catch-all goes?
It depends on how specific you want it to be. I mean, it is in code that they need to follow the highway corridor.
Okay.
It just depends on if you want to highlight that or not. It's up to you guys.
As far as any other conditions go, do we need to address the the strict nature of the wash as far as it's strictly out, external or,
Would that make you guys feel better? Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I agree. I mean, there could always be a vision of expansion or something like that, so I think being clear what's not allowed, that's not allowed, just help them.
So no washout, of, in the internal pieces of anything, whatever you got going through there.
Right. We can do that. Time frame?
Nature of the business, obviously, we want it around for a long time. We usually do 10 years, or we roll it with the land.
It's up to you. I mean, if you want 10 years, see how it goes, and then if we don't have any issues with it, it's easy enough to come back and extend it.
Re-up it and go with the land. Is that okay with you as far as?
As long as this is all it is. In 10 years.
Yeah, in 10 years, you'll have to come before whomever's here and ask for another, renewing of the conditional use permit. Okay. So 10 years seems appropriate.
Did you want anything about the road entrance, that sort of thing, or working with city staff on?
Yeah, I would probably put in there, and we can get together and visit more, but I'd probably put in there that they don't contest the assessments for utilities and paving.
And then as far as the entrance to the south and the skirting and the apron there, will that just be, does that need to be part of the permit?
It's part of the street, isn't it? That's part of it, really.
What,
The
the
entrance.
approach?
Yeah. So it's really gonna be on the right of way.
You build the approach. When we build the street, we can put an approach there.
Correct.
If there's an approach here, but anything behind the curb is yours.
I just don't want to get too
If we know
over
where-
technical.
If we know where it is, we certainly
Yeah.
can build that
Yeah.
as part of the project. We just build, well, you're assessed for it anyway, so that would just be part of what you're assessed for.
You may want to put something in there that allows the gravel, because we don't have anything for commercial industrial to not pave the whole thing.
Sure.
And,
So,
and if that
yeah.
works for them, that's actually better. It's more,
Porous.
it's a permeable surface, and so we don't have as much runoff, so it's, environmentally, it's better.
As long as they have the,
We just don't want rocks being drug out.
right, as long as they have the approach from the street, then they can turn it into gravel on the actual route to the wash. And they have concrete on the west side coming out of it, so there's not gonna be any dragging of.
Yeah, the only track in would be into their facility.
Right,
Right.
so then, it's your rock problem, not the city's type of thing.
Did we need, I don't know what their vision was. I remember some vision around parking. Is there overnight parking on this thing?
No,
No
that
overnight
was
parking?
you guys.
Okay, that was us. Okay,
I don't want them to park there.
okay.
Any other specific conditions that are important for this permit? Other than those already discussed? Val, you got a pretty good idea?
Let me go through these. Just make sure I got everything. So, no outdoor storage, hazardous material, or overnight parking. The nature of the wash is only exterior washing, no washout. 10-year time frame. Wouldn't contest assessments for utilities and paving, and allow gravel ingress, but concrete egress. Did I catch everything?
Is that fair?
Does that make sense? Okay.
And, if you wanna zoom in there, the two that have the southern piece of the property, when you come in and we visit, and I talk about putting a cul-de-sac here, we would probably need a little bit of property up in here. But if we're gonna end the road here, probably the conversation that we'll have is, if we take this piece of property down here and split this in half, and this gentleman gets this half and this property gets this half, does that make sense?
Not really, sorry.
But, well, because there's no, right now, this is city property all the way down to the railroad.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need this property. So we can have a conversation about, you give us a little bit up here so we can end the street and get a little turnaround, and then we can give we can split this and give it to you two or something.
Oh, I see.
Land swap, kind of a little land swap.
Okay. Can you give us where in Waterloo?
Well, we'll figure that out.
Just with my experience on my new house, we paid a lot of money for that. But I just want to make sure and cover that part.
Steve, well, building this up, obviously, we're gonna have to build it up a little bit. Is that gonna change the drainage either direction?
No, I don't have a good vision of what the road necessarily looks like out there, but typically, when you go in there, you try and fit it so the top of the curb is, you want the properties on the side to drain into the curb or drain away, however you're gonna work that. So typically, you would go into a rural section like this and lower it a foot, roughly a foot, so that when you build it back in there, the curb, top of curb kind of matches the sort of the natural grade, but without being out there, it's hard to say. I wouldn't necessarily think we would be raising it, but sometimes we do.
So what about the property itself? Obviously, that'll get raised with the construction. Will that change which direction that flows?
I haven't seen a plan. I would expect usually from the front of the property, it'll run towards the street, and somewhere middle of the property, it'll run towards the east. But I haven't seen a grading plan from them yet.
Okay.
I would take a motion.
Make a motion to have city staff prepare a conditional use permit for discussion and action at the next regularly scheduled planning commission meeting for an oversized vehicle truck wash on property addressed as 1401 South Chestnut Street with the conditions listed off by Val.
Second.
Motion is second. Please vote.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative, motion carries.
Harrison, thank you for your investment. It's gonna be awesome. I don't know if there's anything like this in town, so might be a good business for you.
And consideration of recommendation of the final plat of the Shawd subdivision, second edition. Anyone here for this?
Thanks for your time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Morning.
Morning, I'm Randy Mateo with Mateo Sand and Gravel. We're kind of the reason for this with the Shaw deal because we want to purchase that piece from Scott McDonald. And it's just for our mining operation. And the biggest reason for this little slice, even though we have a couple hundred acres there already, this is kind of plays into where the power comes into our property and we can move our plant over by that. And so we just need his little piece there to make it easier for us just to continue doing what we're doing. So we're doing this stuff in behalf of Scott, I guess.
So he's selling you that north piece.
Yep, just where that little line that drops, just everything north of there. That's what we're doing here is we're just separate plat is the way we talked with Val, and that's how we had to do this because it's already been platted. She said you had to just change the plat.
Yeah.
So we're just moving that little line down and purchase that from him is our plan.
And is there any access issues?
So that's why you see that it's called an outlot. And the only reason we're really doing this is because Mateo Sand and Gravel is buying this, and so it's, the only access is through their property, so it's not a legal lot to build on, because it doesn't have access to a public road, and that's why it's referred to as an outlot, and also there is a note on there about not putting any permanent buildings and that sort.
And you're good with that? As
Yeah.
far as no permanent building, no structures?
This property will just be absorbed into our property when we're all said and done with this, and
Okay.
our plant will be using that property, but it's a portable plant, so it's, no permanent building needs to be there for us.
Okay.
Just for the time being, you'll have part of your operation there.
Yep,
Okay.
our screening plant will be in that vicinity, and the scale and stuff to probably will be over there too.
And I know this was asked about, and so I looked it up. In '22, you guys came back and expanded your cup.
Yep.
And so to add some of these other properties that you were thinking about that you would acquire over the years. And so it is part of the cup, so it's already part that they can
He doesn't
expand on.
need to redo the cup?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we purchased more to the east, and that's why the plant needs to move east to be able to reach everything with the pumping. So that's,
Fair enough. But everything else looks okay, Val?
Yeah, this is a pretty simple one once we figured out that it was platted and couldn't just be absorbed into a meets and bounds that they have out there already, which is the creative way we came up to figure this out, yeah.
Good job.
Good.
Thank you.
bet.
There's no further discussion. I'll make a motion to consider recommendation of the final plat of Schald subdivision, second edition.
Second.
Motion to second, please vote.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative, motion carries.
And Val for the June 2025 building permit report.
Okay. So June 2025, we had 3 new single-family detached permits come in. So we're a little under this year. We have 36. Last year at this time, we had 44. No new duplex, so we're pretty much even, 2 units and 2 units. No new multifamily, but we're very high. We have 166 units this year. Last year we were at 30. 2 new single-family attached came in. We are doing well on single-family attached. We now have 16 versus 4 last year. And the building valuation is still approximately 39.6 million higher than last year at this time. Any questions?
Thank you, Val. Any other open topics or concerns? Seeing none, I'd ask for motion to adjourn.
So move.